All right, welcome into the Bobby Carpenter Show, and I've got my guy AJ right here, ready to rock as always. I was worried he might be on spring break, but after looking, assuring me they're not on spring break till next week, very happy about that, AJ. How we got any big spring break plans for next week? By the way,
Yeah, we're gonna take the kids out for a little bit, get out in the sun a little bit, and try to go throw the frisbee on the beach and jump into the ocean and catch frisbee and football, into the waves. That's always my favorite activity, and it tends to be my kids as well. I'll probably throw about 1,000 footballs from the side of the pool off of them jumping into a pool and trying to catch it.
I know you're a big activities guy. That's why I like going out with you, and your kids are the same way. They enjoy all the outdoor stuff. We get into the snorkeling. I know you like to get out there and kind of cruise around a little bit too. I mean, did you get some snorkeling and stuff in?
Yeah, I love getting in the water. My kids do too. So yeah, I'm sure we are. We'll plan on snorkeling at some point, I think. But I just like if there's a beach that's not super crowded and you can go run around, throw the frisbee, play cornhole, do all kinds of stuff. Like that's my ideal situation. And jump in and out of the ocean as much as you want.
Yeah, that sounds great. I mean, I love it. My kids love the ocean. We were down in Baja Mar, down in the Bahamas. It was awesome. Like McLean, Brian Baldinger was actually on our
Yes.
little scuba thing. Oh, dude, he's down there by himself. AJ, like completely outside of where
He's
we're
a full go scuba guy. He posts scuba stuff from all over the world, I guess.
I didn't realize that. And then I started looking and he's like talking. He's doing the narrative like while he's in the water, still talking back and there was some massive fish. It was sweet. But I think he was impressed because like I would go do this and he brought fins. Like I was just raw dogging that thing barefoot, going down deep. And then my daughter, McLean, was there and she loves it and she was swimming and she went down. She's got like a conch shell and got all this stuff. So I think he saw the respect from her being like a 14-year-old girl doing all this different stuff and not being scared and going for the deep dives. So it was a good time. And so I enjoyed it. I'm hoping for you guys to enjoy it. Miss Laura, I mean, she's going to go there looking like powder and come back looking like Charlie Murphy. That's my favorite part about Beebs is her incredible tanning acceleration that she has. And then you go there looking like powder and come back like maybe looking like me, just like a little bit tanner, which is good.
Yeah, I don't really absorb sun very well. Yeah, I annoy my kids and my wife with how much I want to spray. I'm always constantly reapplying, spraying stuff. I mean, hey, I know my strengths and my weaknesses, and my skin does not do well in the sun, even though I like being out in the sun. So I just gotta take care of it. I got burnt 5,000 times in a row growing up and as an adult. So I just know now if I'm gonna stay out there, like, hey, we gotta protect ourselves. I'm not gonna be swimming with my t-shirt or a long sleeve shirt on. Like I'm not doing that.
Okay, that's why I was curious. So we're no on the swim shirt though, correct?
No, come on now.
I don't know, man. I mean, you tell me. Like you wear long sleeves in the summer.
I do wear long sleeves a lot. And I like 3/4 baseball cuts, but no, if I'm actually getting in the water, I'm not wearing a shirt.
I didn't know.
I'm not wearing long sleeve, not like the long sleeve fishing shirt, and then the glasses with the croquis on the back. Like that's like the the Southern gentleman way to go swim down south.
Go swim. That thing's like a parachute. We'd have to get you, dude. We have the sweet poncho shirts. I'll have to get one on. We'll get you some of those. You don't need to swim in them. They're just cool to hang out and obviously do some cool outdoor stuff because they're like wick away everything and they're not like super baggy. But we do have our guy Schlegs in. Is Freddie still there, Pat? Or can we throw him big jaw up from the airport? Look at this. Look at the size of that face in that.
Hey, I need some ponchos, man. I need some ponchos.
Are you in the airport? You're in the airport right now?
I'm in the airport right now, and like, when I
there it is. There it is. he definitely his thumb definitely hit hang out.
No, I did not. Yeah. Right here. Right. My dad called me randomly because he watches my son play baseball on the YouTube machine, and I was like, "No, I'll call you in a minute." But anyways, I'm just like I never watched my face or look at my face when we were doing the show. And back in the day, guys, there was a movie called Tango and Cash, and there was like this villain that had this huge monster jaw, and it was like 5 o'clock shadow, darker than this. And AJ used to just come up and hit me in my face because of that movie, and now I know why, because it's pretty big jawline.
So here's the thing, Schlegs, you're up in Maine doing some business, some stuff with the difference. Some of the folks up there, you can talk about it. I know that you're a big Reacher fan. Schlegs, do you watch Reacher, AJ?
I have not. I hear it's awesome though.
I've never watched Reacher before.
The big dude. I know the big dude who's the main character,
he's
right?
Jacked.
Yeah. He's huge.
Life goals.
It is life goals. But I thought you had seen it, Schlegs. You have not seen it.
No. You reach around. I've never seen that.
Well, it's really good. But the current season, we watched a couple episodes last night, is actually taking place in Maine. And so he's like the superhero up there. So I thought you might be up there maybe doing some superhero stuff too.
No reach arounds up here, just doing business. I'll tell you this though, man. Hey, Maine. Okay, so I don't know like a lot about Maine, but I do know. I think it's Vermont. Like comes down. That might be New Hampshire. Comes down. There's like a sliver, and then it goes into Mass. And like they're all talking. They're all Boston fans up here, which is it's fine. It's cool. But they're like, hey, let's go out to dinner. I'm like, all right. Well, what do you want? I'm like, listen, man, we're in Maine. Like they're known for lobsters. Like, is there other fish up here? And like, oh, that salmon's great. I'm like, where are they freaking getting that thing? It's like a salmon farm. Like, I want shit that's literally right out the water, like right there. I want that guy. So we went to this place. It's called Scales. First off, sweet name. Second off, they have the best IPA I have probably ever had. It's called a Maine Lunch. I told this group, Hawk and Dynamic, I was like, listen, if we want to get this deal done, you guys might have to send a keg of that to the Columbus Barrel Boys and the Difference USA because it is delightful. All right, so had some of those. And then we went to this Scales place and I had a lobster roll. They had these like rolls that were garlic butter in this pan. Oh my
Red
gosh.
Lobster, yeah.
I pounded this shit. And then I had a lobster roll. And I'm not a mayonnaise guy, but this was like the perfect combination of mayonnaise and butter on this freshly baked roll. Guys, listen, I ate this thing so fast. I should have bought two. And then I had some dessert, and I had four of those main lunches. And but I felt great. I felt great. Went back to the room, did some emails. I'm like, man, I feel really good. It was a great day, great day. And then I woke up this morning talking shop. That's what you should do. So, anyways, side nugget: when you guys come to Portsmouth, Maine, I don't even know if I'm saying is it Portsmouth? Okay.
Portsmouth, Maine, yeah.
Because I keep thinking about like Portsmouth, Ohio, and I'm like, is that wrong? Are there two? Anyways, no, is it Portland? Is it Portland, Maine? Like
Yes.
Portland, like Portland, Oregon, and Portland, Maine, right?
Maybe.
Now I don't even.
I've never been there. I've never been to the state.
Well, guess what? You should go there because I know that when you go up north, it is quite delightful. Everybody says it's like it's where everybody goes. Tourist capital of Maine, of the Northeast is in Maine. It's where all the magic happens. Anyways, it was really cool. Did you know that the majority of all blueberries comes from Maine?
What are you reading? What are you reading? All the tourists.
Who told you that?
Hey, I'm Maine people.
Oh,
you know, I'm like, what else do they do here? You know, like lobsters. I get it. You know, you got wicked tuna. You know, up there, up the road, right? Like I think that's right by here. I don't know. That might be Massachusetts. I don't know. I digress. But I'm just asking, like, what else are you guys like? Oh, blueberries. I'm like, no shit, blueberries. Like, yeah. And so they had like a blueberry custard. Guess what? I'm trying some blueberries when I'm in Maine. And the hunting they said is really good up north. They got like a lot of lakes. It's a big ass state. So, side nugget. Do you know that if you stretched out the coast of Maine and all the islands that are around it, it would be longer than the west coast of the United States?
Listen, dude,
I didn't know that. I knew that one.
Hey,
Yeah.
I'm done with Slags and the fact of the Maine. Are you reading this off the tourist board right there? Like, what are we doing?
Man, I'm trying to go. I looked around these houses, like some sweet houses, man, like old school vintage 1700 houses. I like it. I was like, this is cool, man.
That's where the Puritans used to burn the witches there, Schlags. I mean, that's what they would do up
I think I saw a
New
statue to that in one of the cemeteries. It's just like somebody burning a witch. That might have been it. I thought it was a World War II monument, but I guess not. It's probably like 1700s.
All right. So where are you at, Age? So Nate Ebner just became, a coach at Ohio State. Schlags broke it on here. We talked a little bit about it yesterday. He was literally driving in the car, and you could see everything. It was ridiculous. But Nate Ebner at practice today, got a chance to see him. He's looking good. I mean, he's swolled up, feeling strong. But where are you at when it comes to coaches wearing cleats on the field?
Is Nate wearing cleats out there?
I'm just asking without that. My dad used to wear cleats for games. He didn't wear them at practice, but he wore cleats for games. Where are you at on this?
You know what? I'm okay with it if you're going to be active, you're going to be cutting and like running and actually doing things. I know a lot of Pete Carroll's staff in Seattle, a lot of them would wear cleats. I knew it. We had a coach that went over there and was coaching running backs and receivers, and he was telling me later, he's like, no, we like a lot of us wear cleats out of practice because like I'm running and cutting and doing stuff. So I guess I'm okay with it. I wouldn't, if I was a coach, I wouldn't want to feel like I need to wear them every day, but every once in a while I'll throw them on there and route the boys up a little bit.
Well, I mean, So he is wearing cleats, Bob. That's what you're saying.
Well,
And
yes, Nate had
yeah,
some cleats on.
Didn't he
but
get a knee replacement?
Not well, more or less. They did like 2 knee things on him. Then he had Achilles surgery. I mean, Nate's pretty beat up. He played through a lot of things,
Yeah.
much to his detriment, to the point where I think he like couldn't walk at the end of his career. Like he was somehow playing in games, but could hardly walk, and so that's why he ultimately retired. But yeah, he's had a couple of surgeries. He was on the cart. I think he had the cart for his right leg for a while, then the little cart for his left leg for a while. And Simon would just make fun of him. And yeah, as I did, but he's back. Stu got him rehabbed and now he's coaching, but he looks good. And that's what he said. He goes, man, I can't go down out here. I can't be given ground. I got to make sure I can hold the point. And I give him that because James was out there last year working on the grass. And on the grass, man, you can slide a little bit when it gets damp. So I respect it. Like you said, AJ, if it's justified and you're going to be wearing the cleats for a purpose, then that makes all the sense in the world to me.
Yeah, if you have a 78-year-old coach wearing cleats out there with a cane, then I think it's a bit much. Like, all right, Tommy, tough guy. Like, we're okay. You can probably wear loafers out here and be all right. But yeah, if you're running a little bit, you're moving and you're holding pads, because you're right. I've seen James do that as well, wearing a big chest protector and things on his arms, and dudes are just jacking him. And he has to sit there and, like you say, hold the point and have like a little bit of a stalemate with every single guy over and over again. Yeah, then you might need some cleats to hold your ground so you don't get killed, I guess.
Tell us about how you feel with the staff that Ryan's put together. I mean, guys, like this is real. I mean, we might have like 3 defensive line coaches. 4 of them. Shit, I don't know. We have like 3 offensive line coaches, right? You got multiple offensive coordinators. You got Nate coming back, right? You got other guys from the league like coming over. The question is this, AJ? 1, have you ever been around a big staff? And 2, like, could there be too
That's
many
Shaft or staff?
too well, I don't know. He likes shafts and staffs. I don't know. But like, here's the deal on the staff like this, when they get really, really big,
Yeah.
could you have potentially too many chefs in the kitchen? Like, is there enough? So, like, do you like what they've been able to do to add value? Like, tell us about how the staff
Yeah.
came together and how you
I
like
mean,
it.
yeah, you could definitely have too many cooks in the kitchen, I guess. But as long as people, like, that's what Ryan Day's job is, to let people know like what their role is. Hey, this is what we expect from you day in and day out. This is what we need from you and everything. Like, if you know what your specific job is in your role, I don't think you can ever have too many great coaches around. Now, I know there's different rules on what they can do and certain analyst jobs and all that stuff, but there is a ton of guys, like, when you have that much experience around the staff, like Matt Patricia coming back, I think that's awesome for them. I think it's going to be cool to have him there running the defense and just being a big part of it. But yeah, I mean, you just gotta know, you can't have 4 guys that think they're the offensive coordinator or 3 guys that think they're the defensive coordinator, and there's no real one person that you go to when you really need to make a decision. Like, that just has to be clearly defined.
It's good. I think the same, because there's a lot of guys. Hey, you want to have 1 player per coach, or 1 coach per player that's out there practicing at a time. Like, hey, more the merrier. Just kind of jam them in there. So the big staff or shaft, as Schlegs likes to talk about, I think is definitely warranted. They got practice on Friday, throwing the pads on today. Monday were shells, kind of easing in the acclimation. Either one of you guys, I mean, I'm going to be out there Friday, getting juiced up a little bit. Are you guys going to be out there Friday, backwards hat, AJ, just getting after it like Schlegs right now?
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, I will be traveling on Friday. If not, no, I would probably wear my shoulder pads and maybe one of my old helmets if I could have got out there and try to mix it up a little bit. But no, I would not do that. Schlegs, I would not do that. To be fair, I know Bob did that and did bowl practice multiple times.
Exactly.
I have no desire to do that. No, I'd get killed.
Of all the people that, like, honestly, that would have been a question. Like, who do you think would be the one of us that would put on pads and
Come on
practice
now.
right now? It would be a 100% Bob. And if anybody picked us 2, like, they obviously don't know us. But I would say this though, I would love to do inside drill.
Yeah,
I swear to God, I would freaking love inside drill. Bob, like, he was out there doing 7 on and stuff. Like, I'm good. And I'll get the check down. But like inside, yeah, that's where the magic happens. Anyways, hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? I know you guys are going, like, jumping the waves, and I like how I got a great visual of you.
Yes.
And are you going to be as pacey as Elon when you get out there, like, the first time, or like, how are you going to go attack? How are you going to attack this? Because your body looks way better than.
Well, yeah, I mean,
let's be real, but like, how are you going to attack the oozing in of the tan? Because like I went out there and just straight burned on the Buckeye Cruise. I was like, give it to me.
Yeah.
And I'm still like flaking off right now. It's kind of terrible. How are you, AJ Hawk, super pale, gonna go and ooze into getting tanned up over this spring break?
There's no ooze an inch. Like it's usually the first day I reapply it 4,000 times as I'm getting in and out of the ocean, and then I still somehow get back to the room. Or like it's like 3 or 4 in the afternoon. You see people and they look at you and they like touch your skin, like, "Oh boy, you got to get out of the sun. You're burning bad," and then you start getting pissed off at it. No, I'm not. What are you talking about? I've been putting stuff on all day. I'm not. This is a tan. Look, it's gonna fade to a nice golden brown tonight when I sleep, and I wake up and I'm already, like you said, you got sun poisoning. It's flaking off already the next day. But that's what vacation is, man.
It's good. So we're going to toss this up here on the screen. We had a poll. I think it was from last week, maybe from Sunday or Monday show. We threw up Sunday. Who had the biggest ego? We were talking to Tim Walton, and Tim was saying, hey, everybody's about the group, but the individualism, promoting that within the group. Who had the biggest ego in the linebacker room? It looks like Schlegs and AJ beat me. Because they collectively got more than I did. I only had 47. I had 47. They're combined for the other 53. So they must have beat me on this poll. And it's fairly scientific. It's got about 600 people that voted in it. So
that's pretty good, man. Look at all those views on there, man. I see you coming up. 599 votes. I see you guys.
Yeah.
What do you think about that, AJ? What do you think about that?
It's like he was saying, Age, that Schleich said that he used to be a sacrificial lamb so that you could make all the plays, because if not, you used to want to go cry and you would leave, and Fick would always have to go tend to you to make sure that you were in a good spot.
Hey, the crying and wanting to leave part we know is not the case, but Schleig's absolutely. I mean, look at his head and look at that jaw. If it's going to be me or Schleig's going through there first, I would say Schleig's can do a lot more destruction than me and hopefully get through there. But yeah, Schleig's definitely sacrificed his head and jaw for me many times. I agree.
And also it's because, like, let's not kid ourselves. You two are way more athletic. Like, I ain't going to try to pitch that. Like, listen, I had my shot. They gave it to me. I missed the sack on Vince Young. And I had free reign. And they're just like, you know what? Not athletic enough. Guess who is? The Will linebacker, the Sam linebacker. Like, all right, go do what you do best. And I was like, you know what? I appreciate that. Thank you. Sometimes you just got to come to terms with who you are.
It was amazing. I mean, honestly, watching Vince Young sidestep you when he's in the pocket, like you're coming around unblocked, untouched, and Vince just gives you the whoop, and you just slid right by.
So terrible. I still think about, like, this is terrible. I'm 44 years old. I still think about, I missed that sack on him, and then
that's why we lost.
That's probably
why we lost the game.
I remember AJ had, like, honestly, we had 3 turnovers inside their 25-yard line to start the game. AJ had 2 of them, and we got 3 points out of it. That's why we lost.
Vince is too good. Vince was so good. He won the Heisman that year, didn't he?
No, he should have. They gave it to Reg, but Vince should have won it.
Are you sure?
There it is, bearing down.
Dad, how did you
no
get
one
that?
Between you and him.
I mean, there's a lot of space there.
On the ground.
There's a lot of space there too,
guys. First off, I had to beat 62.
He tripped you, I think. I think he clipped your heel.
That's what he did with an asshole.
You can tell.
That's exactly what happened.
He's reaching for your right foot.
Vince is like looking at me right now, like, I'm gonna shake this cracker. Boom. Freaking townhouse.
He's gonna say,
remember that?
He's saying, I better shake him.
Called me a townhouse. Yeah,
if I don't shake him, he's gonna run his head right through my face. Like, that's what he's thinking. I have to shake him to survive.
He's like looking downfield, not even looking at me, but he's looking at me. He's like, I'm gonna shake this townhouse, no problem. Boom.
That is, I've never heard that term before, but that is one of the most remarkable things.
We just invented it because, like, we already talked about this. Like, what type of cracker are you? And again, self-introspection is like a vital part of life. Like AJ, he's a saltine, man. He goes with everything. Like, he likes to keep it simple, but hey, I'm here for the party.
Yeah.
I shop at Walmart, but like there's different layers to me, right? Townhouse? No, I'm buttery. It's me, I'm buttery. You. I'm good with charcuterie and I'm great tomato soup. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I'm the staples. Right? I'm just good at what I'm good at. Bob, like, that's the thing. What are you? Because the
biscuit, can I be one of the biscuit like ginger flavored crackers?
Oh my gosh, those are the Biscoffs. Yeah, those are on American. I'm probably talking to you. Those Biscoffs on American, they're longer. That's what she said, but they're longer and they like thicker and kind of pricey, kind of like prima donna-esque maybe. Only in packets of 2. Only in packets of 2. Me and AJ come in the sleeves. You only get packets of 2 for you. I like that you're a Biscoff.
All right.
You're
Well,
a
we
Biscoff
kept
man. You
H
can make
too
a
long. He's
Biscoff
got to get
sandwich.
Age has got to get serious for Pat here. So we're not talking about Townhouse and Biscoffs and everything
Sounds
else.
amazing.
It does. It does sound great. Age, you enjoy vacation. Where are you guys headed, by the way?
We'll be down in Mexico.
Oh, there
Como
we go. I like
esta,
it.
bitches?
Como
Yep.
esta.
Schlegel is fluent. We know that.
Yes, como esta.
Konnichiwa down there.
Konnichiwa.
Yeah.
All right, man. You have a good one, Age. We'll talk
All
to you
right.
again.
See you guys.
See you, brother.
Konnichiwa, Schlegs. I love it.
Should I do it like this? Should I do
Yeah.
my screen like this? That's
There you
way
go.
better. Oh my
All right,
gosh,
hey.
horizontal.
Hold on a second. You know what? We're going to take a break. We'll get Export coming back out after this.
Yeah, look at this.
Gosh. All right. Welcome back in the Bobby Carpenter Show. And attention, all parents and athletes. Protect what matters most with Export mouth guards, trusted by professional athletes, designed by NHL team dentists. They're scientifically tested to absorb those high impact hits, protecting both your teeth and your brain. Export mouth guards feature 3 layers of advanced protection, including the patented use of carbon fiber. They 3D print that bad boy to your own unique custom smile, which means more protection, better performance, max comfort, clear communication so you can focus on your game, not on your gear. Don't take chances with your safety. Visit exportguards.com/Bobby to save 15% on your order. We got fall sports spring sports coming up, folks. Lacrosse, big deal on that. So make sure you get them for your kids. Export, protect what matters most. All right, so Schlegs kind of hijacked that segment with AJ. I had some things I wanted to talk about. Now he's taking a leak, and so I don't know if we can have him on or not when he's in the bathroom. I mean, are people allowed to FaceTime when they're in the restroom? Like, is that a socially acceptable thing? That's the topic of today's message. Schlegs walked into the bathroom, I'm fairly certain, with his FaceTime on, acting like that's a deal. Now, he did have headphones on, which I think that might shield it a little bit because then people can't hear what's being said on the other side, so they may not know. But I think there probably is some sort of public etiquette where people might not like being videoed in the background of your video while they're relieving themselves or having to handle something like that. So Schlegs has got that going right now. But I want to toss this article up there for you, Pat, the one about the Waffle House, because I want to get this and we can have Schlegs. Oh, he's back. Troy's basketball coach, and I think we have the audio of this if you swipe over, if I'm not mistaken. It might be, maybe it's not. Here we go.
In town, so you can imagine you got one Waffle House per 5,000 people, so probably most per capita anywhere in the country. But started off the first 2 recruits I brought on campus. We're driving down the main street. I point out Waffle House, ask them if they want to eat there for breakfast. And they were like, Waffle House? Hell no, I don't want to go to Waffle House. I'm like, okay, my bad. We'll try and eat somewhere else. Long story short, we signed neither one of those guys. Then we brought a guy named Nick Stampley, who's an OKG, our kind of guy. He was our 3rd recruit to visit. We're driving by. We don't even say anything about Waffle House. He sees it. He's like, oh, coach, y'all got a Waffle House here. Can we go there tomorrow? He was our first signee. He was one of the toughest guys we've ever coached. And from that point forward, we just kind of offhand asked him, do you like Waffle House? the answer is yes. It's like for a town.
I mean,
I
how
like that
about
guy.
that, Schlegs? So Troy basketball doesn't bring in players who don't like Waffle House. I saw that and I immediately thought about you and thought, hey, this is something our guy I was going to talk about it without you today and then bring you in, and then you popped up when the time was right. And so I think that was kind of the perfect segue in to being Waffle House ready.
Oh my gosh, dude, listen. There's so many levels to this thing, but again, like why? Here's what I think that makes the Waffle House like question a really valid one. One, are you willing to take food that you may or may not like? Right? Are you that kind of uppity person that it's got to be like absolutely perfect? Or are you willing to have your hash browns like covered and peppered and smothered and all these different things, or you just like them plain, but the chef may have dropped a couple of ashes, in there and then mixed it up. That just adds to the seasoning. Are you okay with that? Right? Because there's going to be times on the court like you got to like overcome some bad calls and things, just like some bad service that may happen. Hey, guess what? It might go down in the Waffle House, right? After having already done an all-star and you got to throw down for your boys, just like on the court. Can you do that? Are you that type of guy mentality wise? I think it's a great segue into like what you need to be as an athlete, especially in the NIL world. Think about that, guys. Like I always like to go out, and part of the reason why I'm up in Maine is I wanted to meet this company. I wanted to see what they're about. I want to go out to dinner with them. I want to see how they treat their service. Like I want to talk how do they treat their employees. I want to talk all the things. Now I know them. I'm like, boom, yeah, let's go make some stuff happen. Right? Same thing with this. Hey, you like Waffle House? Yes or no? Yes, I absolutely know. Hey, yes, not my favorite, but I'm willing to go. Okay, that's a thumbs up. Oh man, I ain't eat that trash. Guess what? You're in Troy, Alabama too. Like, know your audience, right? Like, what about those guys? They ain't going nowhere. Anyways, I love that guy. Waffle House ready, jailhouse strong, gas station ready, always.
And that's the type of
I
guy
love
you
it.
want. Had you ever
That's the guy.
had you ever heard the term OKGs before?
OKG.
Yeah, you didn't hear him say that? He goes, he was an OKG, our kind of guy.
Oh no, I like that. OKG. Or gal. Or gal. I mean, I
He
have
could be
women
gal
that are
guy. I mean,
members.
listen,
Yeah, I like that. Hey man, you're an OKG. Our kind of
he's like,
gal.
he
Our kind of
drove,
gal.
he goes, we're
I like
driving
that.
by. He's like, oh, coach of Waffle House. And he was an OKG. And I'm thinking, what the heck's that? And then he says, our kind of guy. I'm like, well, that's so like, you got all these different acronyms in football. And it's like this and that and everything else. Hey, OKG, our kind of
I
guy. I
like
mean,
it.
I think there is a methodology to that. It's something that's very important, obviously, to throw out there. So that's key to look at. That's key to watch. All right. What time is your flight, Schlegs? I need to
It's
know
right
how.
now. It's boarding. It's boarding right now. I'm watching the people like, hey, what's up? So I'm like, I gotta run.
All right.
But I love you. Hey, hey, everybody out there, listen. I appreciate you guys. Like, subscribe. We love doing the show. This is great. Hey, Buckeyes are gonna look good. Tack and dominate. Go Bucks. Be cancer.
Well, you heard it there first. He was going to keep going. You had to shut him down, Pat, because our guy Schlegs, well, he can talk forever. Some good news in the state of Ohio. Coming out of Cincinnati, Joe Burrow should be a happy camper with everything that's going on. And after watching the NCAA selection committee, I mean, do we even know what the SEC is anymore? Well, we'll find out about all that next here on the Bobby Carpenter Show.
Welcome to Big Play, the fastest growing sports media company in America.
I'm gonna keep it straight with you. The reason you should watch our show is because I look good, baby.
Come get some!
Join our millions of fans for live sports talk shows hosted by the top former athletes and sports personalities in the industry.
Ohio, it's my home state.
Obviously, I'm a diehard Cleveland sports fan.
Watch what you want, where you want, when you want. Welcome to Big Play.
Make sure you tune in.
I love you, Cleveland.
All right, some big news out of Cincinnati. Joe Burrow wanted his guys to get signed, and I thought there was no way in hell the Cincinnati Bengals are going to find a way to be able to keep Jamar Chase and to keep T. Higgins, and they find a way to keep them both. And $161 million later for Chase, and then Higgins, $115 million, both over 4 years, tethering these guys together. Higgins came out and said he never thought it was in jeopardy. Always thought they were going to get the deal done. I can't imagine that when he's tweeting out some stuff and things that maybe weren't as positive when he got his second franchise tag slapped on him. Thought there was no way in heck. But this is a new model. And we'll see how this goes in the NFL. And maybe this is the new NFL, an NFL where we always historically have talked about defense, run game, being balanced. And I know it's shifted to passing a lot recently, but there's still always like a need to be balanced. You couldn't overspend. I know it's a quarterback-driven league. You want to pay your quarterback, and then you just wouldn't pay your receivers and say, hey, you got to make up for it. You handle these guys for us. They got Joe Burrow everything you wanted. Now, maybe they're going to be able to keep Hendrickson too. I think they have the money. They should be able to get that done. But this is going to be a little bit of a test case, a little bit of a test run that paying 2 top-flight wide receivers, can you give yourself enough of an offensive line? Can you have a running back? And can you have enough on defense to ever get stops? Because the Cincinnati defense a couple of years ago was really good. Last year was struggling a little bit. And so we've watched the Eagles do some of this. And when you shift the focus of your team, by paying all these guys, like, can you still fill out everywhere else? Well, you have to be able to draft well. Because the NFL, it's like college. Like, you've got to fill young talent in. And this is where the story is going to shift to the college side. This is about asset allocation. And so when you're keeping players, that means you're going to have to let other players go. And so you may be younger at some spots. Maybe you're older, but you had to get a guy in a portal, and maybe he's not quite as talented, but he's more experienced. And like trying to find these trade-offs. And this is going to start permeating the college football. It already has. And you look at Bill Belichick coming in, one of my buddies, Pat Stewart, like I talked about this, just left New England and went to Nebraska to work there with Matt Rule as their general manager. And so we're starting to see this. And it comes down to asset allocation. And where do you want to be strong? And with the new NIL stuff that's coming out and the House settlement that April 7th. So what is that? In a couple weeks here? Yeah, a few weeks that's supposed to be closed on and figured out. And so as soon as we figure that out with everything there, what that's going to look like, the House settlement, and then they won't really be able to pay guys outside of their real value. They'll have the revenue split piece, and then it's what can guys actually get. And they're going to have a third-party vetting process and all these things for these deals. And so, yeah, you might have a little bit of land yet. There might be a little extra there for some of the guys, but the reality is on this too, there will be finite dollars. And so how do you allocate those? Everybody loves offense. Everyone wants to see scoring. But you think about Ohio State this year when they got some of their big wins. Penn State, goal line stand. Michigan, defense played lights out. All through the playoffs, the Buckeye defense played lights out. If you think about when they had to get stops, Texas ultimately to win the game, they got early stops against Oregon to turn them back, to turn the tide. They were all over Nico Yamaliava to be able to get that win. And so with all of those, there's just always going to be opportunities on the defensive side. So if you go too heavy on offense, can you still pay your defense? And then lastly, before we get out of here, you start talking about the SEC and how good they've been in football. Well, the Big Ten has won the last 2 titles. Michigan, then Ohio State. The Big Ten had 2 teams in the Final Four, almost 2 teams in the finals in the national championship. If Penn State wouldn't have thrown an interception at the very end of the game, good chance that they make it out. And it was just Georgia in there. And then Texas, I guess, comes along as well. But the Texas is not really a traditional SEC team in my mind, like until they're there for, 4 or 5 years when they've fully been indoctrinated. So I don't really give Oregon a lot of credit with the Big Ten either. Like give those teams a couple years. But the SEC, if you want to throw this up, men's basketball record 14 bids, I believe, out of 16 teams. Women's hoop has won 3 straight titles. You look at LSU, South Carolina, baseball and softball win the national championship just about every year. And so you wonder this, like, is football now their sport that they're struggling in? That was always the standard bearer for all those years. And it was so great. And you look at all the titles, but were the titles really most, I mean, you have Auburn in there, you have some Florida titles with Urban. LSU won a couple with Les, and obviously they had one with Saban a while back, but with Les, and then more recently Orgeron, and then Georgia obviously with Kirby. But the majority of those are all from Bama, and then Kirby throwing in his last 2. And so you wonder, was it more Bama maybe than everything else? And now the SEC is kicking butt in basketball, which was something I never thought I would see happen. There's always Kentucky, yeah, and you may throw in a Florida when they obviously won some titles. There's been years where Vandy's been better. Tennessee's had runs. Texas now in there. Texas had pretty good teams from time to time. South Carolina made a run, but they never had consistent programs. Well, now you're seeing a ton of these programs be really good. And the Big Ten is trying to break their 25-year drought of not winning a national championship in hoops, and it would be Michigan State, who's one of the most likely culprits to break it. They were the one who won it last time. So you begin to begs the question, you begin to ask yourself, like, is the SEC, are they still a basketball conference, or are they a hoops conference moving forward? I think they're still going to be good at football, but I think the SEC has changed a little bit as well with what they're going to be. So keep that in mind as you watch the tournament here kicking. I guess it's tipped off already, but really big on Thursday as they get this thing rolling and get it going. That's it for this. We've got our headlines coming up next. And one of the headlines I want to get to here is I want to get your kids. It's spring break, and AJ talked about his kids being outside and everything else. There's something concerning that I just saw, and I like to talk about this because I drive my kids probably harder than I should. But you know what? The world is cruel and it's tough. And we're going to talk a little bit about that next here on the Bobby Carpenter. All right, welcome into our headlines here on the Bobby Carpenter Show, and we've got tailgate talk coming up next. So get those questions fired up and ready to go for the next segment so we can answer your stuff. I was out at spring ball for the end of practice today. Looking good. That availability with Carlos Lachlan and Billy Fessler, running backs and quarterbacks coach. Got a chance to sit and chat with Matt Patricia a lot today and what they're doing on defense, talk to Nate. Friday, they'll put the pads on. And that'll be a lot of fun. I'm sure Schlegs and I will be out there. But I saw this article that came across. It was just fairly pertinent. And it said kids today take approximately 90 seconds longer to run a mile than their parents did at the same age. And it's wild to think that that's the case. 90 seconds, that's the difference between running a 7:30 mile and a 9-minute mile. And there's a huge difference. I mean, I can run, 1 or 2 7.5s in a row. I could run, a number of 9 miles in a row. And my mom was a PE teacher for a long time. I tell them, get your kids outside. I'm yelling at my kids this week. Get off the machines. It's 70 degrees outside. Go outside and do something. I don't care if you're shooting a basketball. I don't care if you're riding a scooter. I don't care if you're just walking around looking at the grass. We're going to get off our rear ends. We're going to get outside. And it's funny because in an era now where youth sports are so crazy, they're so expensive, it's so emphasized, either you're in it or you're completely out of it. And like just kids going around and running around and being active is less something that you see today. And daily physical activity is incredibly important. And it's going to stimulate their mind. It's going to stimulate your body. It's going to stimulate their social relationships and everything else. So 90 seconds, that's a hell of a long time. Let's get out there. Let's enjoy it. And let's make certain that we're getting some opportunity to get a little exercise for the kids and that they're doing something out there, whatever the heck it is, get outside and be active. And that is today's PSA. Coming up next, we've got our tailgate talk brought to you by our friends at Real Truck, where we answer your questions. So get them fired up, throw them in the chat. Coming up next.
The Big Play Sports Network. Download the free app today to watch all of your favorite hosts on demand.
I'm Garage Beer, and this is Bobby Carpenter.
Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer.
Beef with an F? Okay, my bad. It's crisp and cool, and it doesn't taste like... I'm Bobby Carpenter. I drink in garages because my wife says I don't belong inside. If you like a cold breeze on your bag, drink Garage Beer. It's American, and so can you. Garage Beer. Beer-flavored beer. All right, welcome into our headlines brought to you by our friends at Real Truck. Outfit your truck, Jeep, or Bronco. Bring it to life today at realtruck.com. That's nice. I'm going to cruise the Jeep around today. Probably drive that thing over to class. I was teaching class at Ohio State today as well. So make sure you check out realtruck.com. Yeah, I'm going to drive that Jeep over, park it in the garage. It'll be fun. The only negative is I'm driving the Jeep. I got all the top, it's walls off and everything, doors off. It's tough to talk on the phone. Can't really make any phone calls and you're going back and forth. So that right there is a little bit of an impediment to do that. So a couple questions here. Sam throws in the chat. Bob, what's your current mile time and the best mile time you've ever had? When I was in college, I mean, I could, weigh 255. I could still hammer out like sub 6 minute miles, like low 6. I don't know what the fastest one I've ever run. I was probably able to break 6 minutes though, and do that. Right now, like when I go and run and work out, I'll get it on that like 7:30 pace and run about a mile and a half. And I could probably do 2 at that pace. It just comes down to time. I could break 7 and get in the 6s, but I'd rather do intervals and things like that. Just static running just grinds me down, man. So I'll do a little bit of that. And honestly, like just long, crazy running isn't all that good for you either. So like I said, I'll go run it. I do something. I want to get my heart rate up to 155, 160, be aggressive with it. So I could probably hit 6:30 if I really, really needed to and was like stretched and warmed up and ready to go. But usually my running is my warm up. So that's a little bit different. I ran a beer mile. I think it was right around 10, but I think I could do sub 9 or like right around 9 minutes. I was like, there was some meat left on that bone. I needed the beers to be sat out longer. They were a little cold and they still had too much carbonation in that. But I think my time was like high 9 minutes. I think I could shave a minute off of that, which would be great. But yeah, so that's where we're at with running. I appreciate that as well. Steely Matt asks, are we finished hiring coaches? It's a great question. Only Ryan knows that. I would imagine so. We have a full 10-man staff. They have analysts now and like assistants because you can have them all on the field. So you have like analysts, assistants at every position, seemingly. With the hiring of Nate Ebner, I would assume that's the last. He's going to help handle some of the special teams and sitting there with the safeties on defense. So that'll be a big deal. And I think that would be done as well. Mike Ferguson puts in the chat here. Bob needs to update his Zach Morris phone so he can talk with the top down. I was one of the last people to get an iPhone. I had a flip phone until 2015, And at that point, I got an iPhone. I've had that ever since. I use it. I've got my AirPods. It's still tough. I'm telling you. Number one, my Jeep's a standard, and it's a 98, so there is no Bluetooth on it. The Bluetooth is me going like this, trying to drive and shift at the same time. Incredibly dangerous. I have lost a phone out the side before, so that's bumpy. In my earbuds, I've tried to talk with my AirPods in, and there's so much wind. You can't get it done. So it's not the phone. It's the fact that I can't shift. And it's also the fact that it's so windy in there that I won't be able to do it. Do you know what Nate Ebner's official title will be? I think he's special teams quality control. I think that's what Ryan said, like special teams assistant quality control. But he's also, I think, going to help out with the safeties. His relationship with Matt Patricia, I think, is a positive thing, and Ryan and the guys. So, like, he can kind of integrate and be around that whole back end, and that'll all be good as well. And then the last one is from Terry Slusher. I'll put this in here. Do you think Texas will be a night game? I would love Texas to be a night game. I think that would be tremendous. It would be a ton of fun to have a night game for Texas. Will it be a night game? I don't think so. I don't think Fox will ever let that thing be a night game, not on their watch, because it's in Ohio Stadium. So it will be a Fox presentation and a Fox product. I think if they were smart, you'd throw it in there at night because you would rate through the roof by doing it, because it's Ohio State, it's Texas, it's two of the biggest iconic brands. And putting a rematch from the semifinal, you've got, potentially Julian Sayin, and I think Lincoln could just as easily win the job, but just building the narrative. Julian Sayin, top flight recruit from Bama. You got Arch Manning, the Manning, finally his turn. These guys slugging it out, two teams that lost a lot off of both of their squads. So they'll be young, can get over the hump now and beat Ryan Day and go win a national title. Like, all those things will be the narratives. And it would be awesome. If anyone was at that Tennessee game or the Notre Dame game a couple years ago, night games like that, man, they bring me to life. They are phenomenal. But I think it's going to be noon, and I'm really sad about that. And that's unfortunate. All right. That's it for this edition of Tailgate Talk. We appreciate all the questions. Keep firing them away, and we'll get tomorrow. We'll be back and ready to go. And up next, I'm going to wrap up the show with some parting thoughts. All right, final segment of the show. I had a great question from Bradley Dunkel, and I want you to say that about Mylan Graham for tomorrow. I'm going to try to remember it, but please ask that tomorrow, because I think it's very pertinent, and I'm going to dig in on that, and we'll have a bigger conversation about that as well. So thank you for throwing that in there, because it's a very, very good one, Bradley. So hopefully you'll be on tomorrow. Hopefully you'll have that question fired up, and you can throw it in the chat. We'll be able to remember. Like I said, this was first day in the classroom over at Ohio State. Very excited about it. I love being around college-age kids. They've got energy. They look at the world differently. It's a lot of fun. I got one more class here this afternoon, but teaching is something that I've always enjoyed. Enjoy being around the young people. It helps keep you young, and I never realized that until I started crossing 35, 36, 37. You start getting 20 years older than the people that you're teaching. Well, all of a sudden now you know what it's like to be old, and they look at the world quite differently than we do. So if you're watching this and you're young, thank you for being you. And if you're older, hey, try to be around some young people. They will help invigorate your life. That's it for this edition of the Bobby Carpenter Show. Stay tuned in every day, just about at 12:30. We try to come to you live unless we have to tape with a guest or something like that. Please continue to like, subscribe, watch. All of that we appreciate. Leave your comments, your questions, anything we've got for you. And we'll see you tomorrow on the Bobby Carpenter Show.